Welcome to Final Fantasy! No number. We have no idea which Final Fantasy this is. It's Final Fantasy 1. I'm your host, Noxtalili, joined by my good friend Elemental Ogre.
I think I've seen that guy before somewhere.
Yeah. I remember fighting him.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff there. Anyway, this is the first Final Fantasy. This is the Pixel Remaster. I know you're gonna say stuff. We're just gonna do this one. I don't really care about anything else. I just wanted to do the original one. I'm glad it has the Vancian style magic system back, because I feel like it adds something more charm to it. But other than that, this is the one we're gonna play, because I wanted to play it. I wanted to play it. So it's me taking the helm on this one.
It is actually Ogre that's going to be playing. I'm just going to be co-commentary and...
Because I know it's always like, Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest from me, but I am actually really a big Final Fantasy fan. I think, just real quick, mostly because it's like, 6 I could probably get into, but I think it's the later PlayStation ones where I kind of lose the whole, like, it's kind of stopped being medieval, so I'm not that interested in them. But I still like them. But that's just me. I could definitely get behind, probably up till, like... Honestly, I could probably do all of them. I mean, like, 13 would probably be a hassle, but that's just because 13 is just weird.
See, for me, I was first introduced to Final Fantasy...
I could especially get behind 11 and 14.
Yeah. Personally, I was introduced to Final Fantasy with, actually, 7 first, of all things. But then from there, I kind of spread out in either direction, looking into 6 and 8, 5 and 9, and, like, I spread out from 7, as I'm sure a lot of people did.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
7 was, like, basically the big thing for Final Fantasy, to finally put it on the map over here, if you didn't play, like, 6.
Yeah, and I feel like there are, like, I want to say 3 different eras of Final Fantasy, and I think that middle era is my favorite. I was never as big on the whole medieval part, but it's grown on me, especially recently, and having played through now Dragon Quest IV and Dragon Quest Builders, like you getting me into Dragon Quest, I think that's got me a little more enthused about that more medieval side.
And I think it's kind of fair, because it's like, I like Dragon Quest, I want people to play more Dragon Quest, but Final Fantasy is just as important to the JRPG genre at Dragon Quest is. Not as much, because it didn't found the whole thing, but it's definitely the one most people think of when they think of a JRPG.
Now, the Pixel Remaster, this version specifically, which you can get on Steam, is relatively loyal to the original NES version. It's got upscaled graphics, it's fixed some bugs, like, say, thief functions.
Like, say, all of them.
Yeah. But otherwise, it's relatively loyal to the original version. There have been other remakes over time that changed how certain systems work, like magic or whatever. They've even added extra dungeons. This one, though, if you want the original experience of the game, this is a pretty good bet. The one change that I have made to this game is a fairly major complaint with the game, as soon as it came out, was the font used.
Yeah.
Because it was a very narrow font. And personally, I just didn't think it was aesthetically pleasing, but it also didn't match with other fonts that were present. Like, you'd see numbers in full width, and then letters were narrow, and it kind of looked a little weird. But it's a very simple file swap to get full width text. So that's what we did, and that's all we've done.
Yeah. It never bugged me, but it was definitely one of those, like, if you changed it, I would definitely be more like, I like it. But anyway, let's get started with this. We're going to do a new game. And this is it's basically like, you kind of have a job system. Kind of. But whoever you pick is whoever you're going to be throughout the entire game. So you got your classic punch them until they fall down warrior. The speedy as all heck and in later games start stealing from people thieves. The I punch really hard, but if I get punched back, I'm going to cry monk. The I can do just as well as these two, but kinda not. but at least I got a pimpin' hat, red mage.
Yeah, the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, and then you got your white mage, which is just basically like, I keep you alive, just be happy I'm here. And the black mage, who is like, I'm gonna run in front of everyone else and then pull everything, and then blame the tank when they don't pull off everything.
I am not moving from my circle, so help me.
Yeah, healer adjust. So, as far as we're concerned, we're basically just gonna stick with the default lineup, which is just basically warrior, thief, white mage, black mage.
So my thought...
you know, you play your game whatever you want. You want all warriors, do all warriors. You want oops all white mages, do oops all white mages. Show Nintendo Power, whatever.
So my thoughts on this one were, I like to have a relatively balanced party. So you want some good melee, so you get one warrior in there to be kind of tanky, kind of deep-sea.
Well, I mean, if it helps you, I can basically just ruin everything for you. You got your tank, your healer, and your ranged and your melee, so...
Well, I'll figure that out. But, warrior, a little tankier, little deep-sea, like, physical damage. Good start. You also need some mages, you need some healing, get a white mage. You need some magic damage, because you never know, maybe physical damage doesn't hold up, so you got your black mage. The last one, so we have Red Mage, Thief, and Monk left to choose from. Didn't go with Red Mage because we already have White Mage and Black Mage, and it would probably be pretty good to have another melee class, so it's down to Thief or Monk. And personally, I don't have a lot of preference, one way or the other.
Monk's better for damage, but like I said, they're kind of glass cannon-y damage-wise. They're like, strangely enough, the physical variant of the Black Mage, where it's like either one of these classes, they hit hard, but if you hit back, they cry in response.
And with Thief, we can also showcase the fact that Thief functions, so that's good.
Yeah. There's also the meme-tastic, I read a webcomic once a long time ago party here, but there's also the fact that, like, the Red Mage isn't as good as it was, like, in the original SNES. Anyway, let's get
As for names, so I didn't know what exactly we wanted to do for names, so I legit went to this screen and hit random on all 4 of them. I didn't even, like, go to a different one. I just went boom, 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 boom. And we looked at them and went, oh, those are actually good names.
Yeah, they actually worked out pretty well. So we've got Frank. Are we going to go with Frank or Frankie?
I like Frank because it's just so plain.
Okay, so we got Frank the Warrior, we've got Raiko the Thief, which is definitely a fantasy thief name. We've got, tell me when I stop. No, I remember this one. We have Edon the White Mage, which is just so gender ambiguous that it's like, no, whatever you want, folks.
That's something else you'll note, is looking at the sprite work alone, there is no real gender preference. Even the warrior, if you squint real hard.
It's like the warrior, it's like, kind of, but at the same time, it might have that 80s female hair where it was just like that one Mona Lisa picture that made you mad for reasons.
So, like, really, you can name them whatever and just go, yeah, sure.
And this one is Hubert, because I saw the name Hubert and I was like, that is a Black Mage name. Okay,
so the reason I love all these names, I love Frank because it's just so amazingly basic.
Yeah.
In such, like, a big fantasy medieval setting, the warrior, the leader of the party, Frank.
Just Frank.
Just Frank.
Just Frank.
Raiko I like because it reminds me of Red Ring Rico from Phantasy Star Online.
Oh, okay.
The first one. Who I think was a thief or something.
Probably whatever.
I forget what she did.
Probably whatever the equivalent of in that series was.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I like Edon because it's very close to Eden, and Eden reminds me of holy things and a white mage, so kind of basic on that one. Hubert, I like. It's a combination of Bert, which I feel like is
It's such a joke name for us at this point that it's like it has to show up at some point.
Well, it's also the end part of something like a more proper, pompous name. Hubert or something. Like, kind of that goofy. But then it starts with U, which makes me think of yogurt, and it's even goofier.
It's like this really dorky name.
Like, it's just an absolutely dorky goofball name.
Alright, let's start this up. And this is our party. So Frank, Ryko, Eden, and Hubert. This is our Warrior of Light. Zzz.
So for the record, I have played very little of the first Final Fantasy. For a Friday stream a while back, I played through, like, the intro. I played up until we got the actual title of the game. But that was it, and that's all my real experience with the first Final Fantasy.
I played the NES version and got up to the Chaos Shrine and could have beaten the game, but then I kind of like, I'm gonna grind, which is an awful idea in the original one. Like, the original one is just basically like, you get up to level 20, but oh boy, is it an experience to get up to level 20.
Yeah, so for the most part, I'm going to be letting you teach me what the heck is even going on with this game and how you play it and what's going on.
I mean, if you played a Final
And
Fantasy
how
game.
the pixel remaster works. Like, what have they done? What neat things have they added? Because there's like a fast forward button, isn't there? Or
Yes,
something?
there is.
So, like, I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff they added, and I don't know anything. Like, I'm going into this almost completely blind.
Now imagine that whole opening, but on a blue screen. On a blue screen with white text.
Oh, that's what it was, wasn't it?
Yes,
I kind of I remember
was.
that.
Yeah, but you had the.
Where did we come from?
Where did you go?
I want to follow that, but I don't know what with.
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah, I found this crystal outside. And they all merged into one.
And here we are, we're playing the game. It's basically just your, here's what the buttons do, have fun with this.
Okay, confirm, back, open, close. Oh, map. Auto battle? Oh, auto battle, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, random battle, and I was like, just turn random battles on and off.
So here we are on the world map, this is us, I can do this and cycle through whoever wants to be on the world map. It doesn't change the positioning in the party, it's just whoever you want to be your main character.
I think you could do that up to Final Fantasy VI.
You could do that in Final Fantasy 1. In the original game, I remember that.
No, I remember you could do that up until
Oh, and then it
Final
was just
Fantasy VI.
like, So
Like, I don't think they let you do it in 7. Maybe they did, I forget. It's been a long time since I played 7.
I feel like you could, but whatever. We'll go to town first. But before I go through anything else real quick, I want to bring this up because I've been waiting on this forever. So, if anybody remembers the original Final Fantasy, if anybody remembers Nintendo Power, at one point in Nintendo Power, they actually published 4 little full little walkthroughs. It was their precursor to their player's guides and everything. And they did one for Final Fantasy. During a garage sale, I ended up getting a bunch of those things, and I got a couple of them. So today, I brought that copy with me, and you get to hold on to it.
Oh boy.
This is an original Nintendo
Nintendo Power Strategy Guide. This thing has seen some love.
Yep, I got it from a garage sale. They actually have the original person's name on the back. We ain't reading that out, because I ain't calling them out on anything.
Let's just dock some random person.
Yeah, we ain't doing that. But that is the original guide that they got in the mail that I bought for, like, that we bought
Watch
at the
them
garage.
watch our videos. It's like, wait a minute, they got my guide?
Well, he was selling them for like a few bucks, and it was a stack. It was a stack. I was so happy. They were old ones and everything. But yep, that is an original strategy guide from Nintendo Power, Volume 17 for Final Fantasy.
Okay, so I want to very first point out that here it says current location is Cornelia. In here it says this town is called Cornelia.
Yeah, this is the NES, so translation weirdness abounds.
It is not Cornelia. We're not playing Star Fox.
So here's one thing that's kind of fun, is that you can play with the joystick, so you can go diagonal.
That's like almost cursed.
Welcome to Cornelia. No, wait, that's from a webcomic. Stop making me reference that. So I do want to double check. We got money. Here's an inn that actually has an inn look to it instead of just being a screen.
Oh yeah, because you just walked up to, like, you went in the door and it was just like a face.
Yep. And these guys are just basically like, hey, would you like to hear about tutorials for, like, equipment and items and monsters and magic, and it's like, I kind of have an idea, so I am not gonna be like too concerned about it. But I can wash my face in the fountain.
Does this show me anywhere? I was hoping this would show me a picture of the inn somewhere.
It might be up front in one of those, like, here's what it is like at the beginning.
Well, that's kind of what I'm looking through, but I'm not
Look,
seeing it.
even in Final Fantasy 1, they had the dancer job.
Heck yeah!
So you can basically just...
Would you be kind enough to join our party?
It looks like it's a well. It looks like you can climb inside, but you can't.
Really? Stop trying.
Which is funny because, like...
Fighter, get out of the well.
Which is funny because, like, Dragon Quest III came out a month after this, and that's when you can actually start going down in the wells in the series. I don't want to talk to any of the soldiers, because if you notice at the start, there was a soldier in the front of town, and if you, like, talk to him, he immediately takes you to the king and starts everything. I just kind of wanted to start up and, like, see if I can get some stuff real quick. Because we can buy some equipment.
How much money do we have? We got 500 money units.
So we all have knives. We can get a staff. We can get a couple rapiers, and we can get a hammer. I'm gonna get a couple rapiers for my group, and a hammer for the white mage. And then we can go over to equip and slap these on.
So, Pixel Remaster. I like this one because... I actually like... I like this one because they've upscaled the graphics, but not in, like, an annoying way. They're still unbelievably loyal to the original look. You're just not on an NES. Which, admittedly, has not aged particularly well.
It has not. I think the argument for a lot of people, I know you bring it up, and it's definitely one of those, like, yeah, I can see it, is that the NES ones really kind of didn't need that much.
Yeah. There are pixel remasters of, I think, some of the Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, they're out in Japan now, and the number 4 comes out here in about a week or so.
And just from what I've seen, why? Some of those have absolutely beautiful pixel work in them. They did not need to update the pixel work on those to effectively be the equivalent but different.
Well, keep in mind, they're going to be mobile remakes, which is why they also had the word clouds here for some reason, because that always bugged me. Yeah, I think all the soldiers are there to go like, hey, we want to take you to the castle.
Like, graphically, these look like widescreen Super Nintendo games. And, like, that is a pixel art style that I can get behind. I can appreciate that.
So apparently some princess has been kidnapped.
But that, again, just makes me confused why they would change the graphic for the ones that were on the Super Nintendo, because it's the same...
Some old guy said something about the crescent moon and just left town for some reason. I don't know what that was about.
I want a crescent moon. It's Black Mage, get him!
This is where we learned our magic spells.
Oh yeah, because you gotta buy the spells.
Yeah, you gotta buy the spells. You don't learn them, you have to, like, actually buy them. So
Which kind of makes sense, like, you get new armor and stuff for the...
Well, it's very much, like, it's one thing we're gonna be bringing up a lot. This is essentially first edition D&D, but we scratched off the numbers for it, so you can't tell.
So, the story that I remember hearing... Oh, can you only have 3?
You can only have 3, but you can take off some of them by the looks of it, so...
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with sleep.
So, the story that I remember hearing is that Square at the time was kind of down and out. I don't know if their last game flopped or whatever.
They were not doing so good. Yeah, you can just forget.
So, when they got around to making Final Fantasy, they called it that because this was literally their Final Fantasy. If this game flopped, they were out of business.
That's not how it actually goes.
That's why I prefaced
I know.
with, this is the story I heard,
That's...
but I don't actually know.
I mean, it adds something majestic to the whole thing, but apparently the whole point was they wanted to go something that abbreviated to FF. And the whole point was they originally going to call it Fighting Fantasy, but lo and behold, just like Dragon Quest over here, there was a little pick-your-own-adventure book series over here actually called Fighting Fantasy. So they had to pick something else, and Final Fantasy was just the one they came up with. there's a lot of, like, Sakaguchi may have been the one who would have left the game industry if it had flopped hard. But there's also kind of, like, he probably wouldn't have. It was just, like, they weren't doing the best, they just didn't get a game that just had the numbers to it behind it, but they just, like, they just went, like, Dragon Quest is doing well, let's just do something like Dragon Quest, and they were like, alright, just
yeah, and when they made it, like, fantasy like this didn't exist at the time. So when you're gonna make a game like this, you nick from the one thing that's fantasy like this, and that's Dungeons and Dragons. Final Fantasy is effectively a D&D homebrew campaign.
Yeah. Also, say hi to Dia. Hi, Dia. You won't be seen in the series until Final Fantasy XI all over again. Because it's literally only used for killing the undead, and then afterwards they went like, fireworks fine, we don't need Dia.
I like Dia. It's like Holy, but a dot.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those. They could probably use that in a lot of things, but, and now we actually have... Here's the one thing I like. Ethers. You know how we have spell charges? Now you can use this to restore some of it.
Oh.
So you're not confined to everything.
So it's still kind of... It's not like MP. They refer to that to give you the idea. But the game does kind of have... Not MP, but spell charges.
Yes.
Because the first game...
Right here, I have 2 spell charges of first level spells.
Yeah, because it nicked straight from D&D. And how does D&D work but with, effectively, spell charges? And different spell levels that you consume your spell charges when you use and all of that.
So we're done here, we're basically done town, so we gotta talk to one of these guys who are like, the king is searching for the prophesized warriors of light. Those crystals, you must see the king at once, and then they whisk you to the castle.
Dang. Where did we come from, though?
No clue.
Like, this area is landlocked.
It's just basically one of those...
Maybe a boat dropped us off.
It's just basically one of those, you come up with it. It's your characters.
That's true.
Look at that, we all have crystals.
Even in the MMOs, like...
Yeah.
They don't give you any backstory, you just walk into town one day. Where did you come from? I don't know. You decide. Are those chocobos?
I think they're supposed to be dragons. Chocobos don't show up until the second game.
I choose to believe they're chocobos.
I think they retrofitted Sid into this game, and he didn't show up in this one at all. That doesn't sound like a problem.
Nah.
Hey, that name sounds familiar.
I think I fought him too. Chaos Shrine. Oh, well, that's not bad news at all. They really titled Chapter 1 The King's Quest.
Well, I mean, they put the apostrophe in there, so it's not King's Quest, it's the King's Quest.
Like, just cover up the...
Copyright. I like the fact that they like attempted to rescue her, but Garland's so just strong that he basically just decimated their army they sent to them.
And these 4 random punks are gonna do it, though.
Why haven't you fixed it beforehand? You could have built...
The bridge rebuilt as a token of your gratitude. Don't you guys need that too?
We have ships for that.
You're just, like, cool with the bridge gone? The only one it benefits is us? Can we get her to join our party?
Really need that extra DPS. Oh, went down the stairs. So I can still explore up here.
Okay, now go up and down the stairs like 64, 128 times or whatever to overflow the variable and glitches to the end credits.
See, I got a map.
Yeah.
Works in dungeons too, so... But it also does that trick that if they have doors covering up something, you can't see inside of there, but, you know.
Oh, the stair overflow glitch, by the way, has also been fixed.
I have to imagine a lot of glitches have been fixed, but then it's like every video game ends up having its own glitches, so... I'm assuming...
Pretty sure the tool-assisted speedrun uses that exact staircase in order to do the staircase glitch.
Probably. I'm pretty sure he's the guy who's supposed to have that original line of like, you're the Warriors of Light. But because you're supposed to be able to explore town and then go back up to the castle. But they just did that just to streamline everything. Apparently, actually, what it's supposed to be is that he tried to express his feelings towards Sarah, and then she rebuffed him, and he was like, fine, I'm gonna destroy everything and take over the kingdom, and then you'll be my queen. It's like...
Man, what a weenie.
Yeah, really. And then you kind of forget that, oh, she actually has a mother in this one.
Is it gonna chill down here, or should you be,
Well, she's supposed to be up there, but the guard basically said that she's just so distraught right now that she's locked herself up. And then...
Well, not very well, if you could just walk in the room.
And then, you realize, she actually has a sister, too. So there's 2 princesses to this castle.
And Garland only kidnapped one of them? Dude's slacking.
Say the line. I want to tell people I like swords. You know, I was going to make a thing of, like, we're not going to reference 8-bit theater too much, and it's like, no, I'm going to do it. I don't care.
It has been so long since I read 8-bit theater that I would be shocked if I remember anything other than sword chucks and him blocking the ground.
Listen, that came back when I fought Catastrophe in the raid, and then I found out that landing on the ground counted as an attack. And therefore, as a paladin, I could block that attack. I literally blocked the ground as I was landing, just to take less damage. An Elf King? Wait a minute. Aren't you an elf? Ogre, stop it. Never! So basically, we can't get into these because we don't have the mystical key for it.
Well, who does?
An Elf King.
Why? This is...
It actually specifically says, like, they sealed weapons in here, and they gave to the Elf King, holding on to it for the coming of the Light Warriors. So
okay.
They've been expecting us for a while, so we have to find out whoever this Elf King is.
It's our thief, isn't it?
That's the joke.
Give us the key.
So this is the world map. It is a world map, that is for certain.
That's map.
Yep, there's your map. That is the entire continent of what is, if I remember, from the Final Fantasy Wiki, is called Planet A. Because they actually have names for these things, so it's just Planet A.
Okay.
But man, look at that water shimmer.
Ooh.
So,
I like that when you go inside the town, or when you go in the town, it looks relatively small. But when you look at it there, that actually looks like a pretty sizable little town.
well, yeah, you're not necessarily exploring the whole town.
Like, I like that. I like that, though. Instead of just, yep, town's got 3 houses in it. That's all you got. Like, really? 3 houses? That's your town? I know we're supposed to use your imagination, but... I like that this game gives us that abbreviated, like, 3. Oh no! Goblins!
Goblins! I was gonna have everyone attack one enemy, because in this game, when they die, you auto-target again.
Oh,
so,
thank heavens.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't bring that back, thankfully.
Oh, that was some bull crap. Oh no, I didn't have the foresight to know that this guy's HP that I can't actually tell would run out on this attack whose damage that I don't know was, and I'm gonna lose a turn because of it.
The funny thing is that I've read into it a little bit. I haven't actually looked into it, but apparently that is a thing from first edition D&D. Is that you just, instead of taking your turn when your turn order came up, you just said what you were going to do from the start, and if your target died in that combat round, you just wasted that attack no matter what. If it was a spell, or if it was you swinging at it, it's like the target was already dead, so you do nothing.
Like, I kind of get why. Especially in like a D&D setting, I can understand it a bit more. But in a friggin' video game, don't give me that crap.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those, like...
Man, got that good music playing, too.
So they redid the soundtrack. It's fantastic. There's even a player on this whole thing that you can just listen to it by yourself if you want.
It's on the title screen.
Yes, it is. I'm just gonna wander around a bit.
Do them.
sounds like the loyalty system from the Devil Summoner games, where like the demons had loyalty and depending on their they had personalities and depending the Goblin Guards.
Ooh.
And depending on their personalities, they would prefer to use specific abilities. So you got like a dumb demon. You just basically had like the best way to build up the loyalty for them is just to tell them go because they're dumb. They prefer to do their own thing. But if you had like calm demons, you had to like understand the situation on what was their specific like best thing they would do. So this is your magic system. You got up to 8 level spells because D&D, and you got spell charges, which is basically each spell costs 1 charge. So if I get ready to do fire, while my black mage goes, he casts fire, and now he's down to charge. But man, does that hit hard.
Man, this doesn't even tell me what enemies are in the field.
I mean, that's for you to discover. Yeah, it should be enough. Also get some antidotes, because I got poison at one point, and this little part up here, this is the church. He does not cure your sickness or anything, he only revives people.
Yeah, they don't even talk about that. They legit just go from Cornelia Town, Temple of Fiends.
Well, it's mostly because it's like, you don't even bother with it, so... Hold up. Alright, I'm level 3, I'm off to the Chaos Shrine. At the end first. I just realized my white base has got like 60-something health max, but it's only at 24 right now. Though it does do that nice thing where it's like the party splits up and they sleep in separate beds, and then they wake up and go like, I've slept well. Alright, now we're properly off. I'm level 3, I've healed up everybody at the inn, we're off to the Chaos Shrine.
Yay! It's up here somewhere.
A wolf!
Oh no, get it!
Oh, thank goodness.
So level 3 is probably pretty good for this, I imagine.
It's either level 3 or level 4. We could probably do it at level 3. Oh, that's a nasty fight.
Yeah, there's a couple of them there. Man, Hubert's got no HP.
He's the black mage. The funny part is actually...
Is there like a front and back row in this game?
No, that's next game. The funny part is I actually had the red mage in here, and I got up to like a level 5. I haven't done Garland on my phone playthrough. But I put, like, it's basically just the same party, but I put a red mage in place of the thief. And for some odd reason, and I looked it up later, is that the red mage just has terrible health growth. Because they were stuck at like 30-some HP, while my black mage was like 90 plus. And I'm like, why?
Are they they're worse than the black mage?
Yeah, and health growth for some reason.
Okay, well that's another reason to not use red mage.
And I'm going to save before I enter. Because I don't think anything's gonna go. Anything ain't gonna go too bad, but it is the Chaos Shrine, and yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work for me.
Yeah, so can you just like walk right up and go in? There's a bunch of stuff around here to get.
Yeah, you can walk up right in. Nothing's stopping you. But I want to explore first.
Yeah, there are 2 locked doors. I don't know what you do about them.
Oh, that's a fight.
Okay, these are the same guys, and most of them aren't listed in the guide. The wolf is.
Not the wart wolf?
Wart wolf. It's a gray wolf here.
Yeah.
Not the goblins, though. Wolf has 20 HP. Gray wolf has 72 HP. That guy's not hecking around.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think I could probably tell you that's probably not up to snuff, all things considered. Oh, he tried to run. He didn't see it. Goblin Guard tried to run, but he missed. I'm just gonna attack them. The thief's got the know-how on this.
Yeah, that's what this says. I know they've scaled numbers differently.
Yeah. The HP, like, the The basic thing is, like, this game is essentially the remakes in terms of stats and boss abilities, because I don't think the goblins ever tried to run away originally, so... Hey, level 4.
Alright, at least nobody's hit Hubert yet.
Hey, Frank's in the 3 digits now.
Hey.
Hubert's up to a solid 48. Getting some good rolls on that. Hey, a leather cap.
Yeah, so there's a small room in each of the 4 corners of this place. I think the 2 on the right are locked?
Yeah, I tried it in my own playthrough. Ooh, a Gigasworm. Or as I like to call them, because you know them just as well as I do, crawlers.
Ooh. They spat out a bunch of thread and turn into a giant train because they aggro everything in a 10-mile radius.
You thought it was just going to be Final Fantasy XIV things you were going to reference. No, we're going old school 11.
That guy isn't even in here. Closest thing is a spider.
I think I saw a spider in here once. Yeah, they're nasty.
Wait a minute, a werewolf? That's a third wolf that's also not in here.
The werewolves, I think, can actually poison you, so I'm going to try to focus on this guy.
Yay.
Because I got poisoned in my playthrough. My first 2 characters got poisoned, and I didn't have any antidotes on me to unpoison them. And I thought, it's like, oh, you know, that church in town, that's gonna unpoison me, right? No, he just revives you when you die. You have to go find potions for that.
Like, alright, well, I guess I'll just stand out here until I die and then have you res me. Oh, there's a couple of them.
It's like 12, it's like, oh, I'm 12 dragons or something, but you can only have 9 enemies on screen. Fuck you. Run! I don't know if I want to do this fight, but I did get a 10, so...
Yeah, this does not give you any guidance about what's going on in this place. It just says, hey, go straight up to boss. Have a good time.
That one werewolf hit Pete on there for like 20 HP.
Oof.
That was not the character I was expecting to have to worry about.
Oh,
Hubert's dead.
I love
Run!
I love that death sprite for the black mage.
Really? Oh, I fell over.
Just feet up in the air. Sorry, Hubert. Just gonna leave you there. We got a res.
We do not have any Phoenix Downs. We have to go back to town now.
Okay.
Raiko, stop dragging him. Just pick him up. At least it's cheap.
What do you do to get in the locked doors?
You need a Mystic Key.
That's just way later.
You need the Mystic Key. It actually says, like, you need a Mystic Key to open this, which I think is the same one you get from the elf.
Oh, that's some Dragon Quest crap is what that is.
What, the setup? The long setup for everything?
No, the Mystic Key.
Oh, yeah. Alright, Hubert's back, and we're back in the Chaos Shrine to check out these other things. So I can tell you right now, they're going to be locked.
I found the stats for the imps.
Oh
boy, zombies. There's zombies in here?
Yeah.
I haven't found that. Oh, yep, zombie. There we are, 20 HP.
Deals damage to all undead.
I think that's weak to fire and harm.
Which is what heal is called.
Strong against cake, ice, rub, bane, stun, and slap.
I'm sorry, cake? Quake.
It's Q-A-K-E.
I
it's
know,
cake.
it's Quake. You know, Quake with fear. Or
Quake with fear.
Or if it makes you feel better, Quake in the hoop, hoop, hoop sense, so.
You did a good job of that.
You know, apparently that was Trent Reznor. Yeah, they said he makes all the sound for the Ranger character. Oh, thank goodness Hubert finally gets a nice chunk of HP there.
Ooh, oh boy, jeez.
Low rolling that dice there.
Zombie is undead.
The door has been secured with the mystic key. And I can basically tell you the one up there gonna say the same thing. So I'm not really gonna bother with that right now.
That's some Dragon Quest crap right there. There's so many good games where, like, you use sleep, and that's just a good way to take a look at that.
Alright, we got our asses kind of whomped a bit, so I'm going to do the smart thing and sleep in the sleep bag for a night. Just right out front in the Chaos Shrine. Garland not gonna come out and go.
Garland just looking out the front door going, you guys gonna...
We need a moment, Garland. So the thing is, the sleeping bag will restore some of your HP, won't restore your MP. The tent will partially restore HP and MP.
It's like taking a short rest.
And the house will completely restore everything.
A long rest.
Yeah, basically. The sleeping bag is just basically short rest with like HP with your hit point die. Which I don't think they had them in there. And also there's no real point like going around the inner circle.
Yeah, this is a big place with like nothing in it.
Because
you can just walk right in here.
There he is.
His back's starting to get him.
Let's say you take care of him next time.
Okay.